If you're interested in taking those long shots out past 1,000 yards, I'm going to tell you how to get on target in this video. Hey guys, Gavin Gear here from UltimateReloader.com. Here at Ultimate Reloader, we shoot long range all the time.
There we go.
Yeah.
If you have not shot at 1,000 yards or beyond, I thought this would be a helpful video to walk through things like the rifle, the optics accessories, ammunition, your ballistic solution, your dope card, and your shooting strategy to get on target at some of those extreme distances. So what we've got here is a 7 PRC rifle that we built here on the channel. We've got a dedicated story on that. I've got a Leupold Mark V HD 5-25 by 56. This was a little low in these rings, so we're going to use a nice mount from Audair. We've got some accessories from MK Machining for the scope and for our spotter. And so I'm going to waste no time, get the scope and the scope accessories mounted, and we'll talk about what those different components are going to be doing. So here's the rifle. I did quite a few things. Let me walk you through the high-level details. I swapped out the grip that I had, which was rubber, for the Reese VCG, or vertical crossover grip. This is the right-hand model with the thumb shelf, which I love to get that perfect trigger pull straight back. If you wrap your thumb around, quite often it's easy to kind of steer the rifle left and right, and having that thumb shelf is going to help us avoid that. Okay. Now, in the scope department, we've got a lot going on here. This is Leupold's Mark V HD 5-25 by 56. This is a great scope for long range because it's got a lot of elevation travel. We can dial quite a ways up to bring those shots up. Now, in addition to that, you're also going to need to think about the rail that your scope mount is sitting on. This is a BAT HR action that has a built-in 20 MOA inclination on the rail. It points the scope down. When you point the scope down, you've got to bring the barrel up to get on target. That gets you more vertical. In addition to the 20 MOA rail, we've also got 20 MOA inclination built into the scope mount. This Audair scope mount is an absolute tank. Not only does it have 20 MOA built in, it's also got an integral level. That's why you don't see a clamp on external level. Having your scope level is absolutely critical for long range shooting. But it's also just got a very robust design, very securely clamping the scope. The scope moves, your shots move, right? And that obviously is not what you want. So I got the scope leveled. I make sure that the level of the mount and the level of the scope agreed. I put on the turret magnifier. This is a pretty cool add-on. When you look behind the scope, you can actually see how your scope is dialed when you move your head up. And it just aids in that visibility of where your dial is set to, which is pretty awesome. We've got an MK Machining throw lever as well, and this is going to help us dial the magnification on our objective, and it's also going to give us a visual indicator out of the corner of our eye of where our magnification is set. We've got the parallax dial. This slips over the side focus knob, and this is just going to make it easy to dial our parallax. When we go to shoot at a particular range, we need to adjust parallax to do two things. It focuses the target, but then it also allows us to move our head side to side and not have point of aim shift, which, just like your scope moving on its base, is going to throw your shots off target, which obviously is not what we want. Finally, we've got a scope cap for the objective. This is a really well-built scope cap, also from MK Machining, that is going to protect our objective lens. And, you know, this now is a a fully capable rifle. Really looking forward to getting this sighted in, which we're going to do in just a moment. But before that, we're going to pay some attention to our laser range-finding binoculars. The further you go out with your laser rangefinder, the steadier you have to hold it to get a good, reliable distance reading. What I've got here is laser range-finding binoculars that can go out past a mile. And these caps are not only going to protect the objective lenses, but they're also going to allow me to use it with an Arca tripod. Let's see how these are going to look. Well, those actually fit really, really good. Now I can just flip these open when I want to use the binoculars. And then when I want to use the laser rangefinder, I've got Arca right here for my tripod. Awesome. So we're here at my 100-yard range. First thing we got to do is get this thing on paper. So what I like to use is a bench rest. I get the bore lined up with the target. I take a look through the bore, and then I dial the scope until the reticle is right in the center of the target where the point of aim will be. I'm gonna go ahead and take care of that now. Left. That is looking good. So I took a shot and I was high right on the paper. I carefully adjusted the bench rest so that the scope settled right where I was aiming, and then dialed the reticle up to where the shots landed, confirmed my adjustment, and then I had basically one click to the left to get it where it needs to go. So I'm going to put the caps back on, and that means we've got a good zero, we've got a velocity, and we'll get the average velocity plugged into our ballistic solver. Should be good to go. So here we are up at the ridge line. I've got Kyle with me. Kyle's normally behind the camera. He's going to be part of our two-person shooting team. I'll do the shooting and you can do the spotting. How does that sound?
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, so while we were sighting in, we got a good velocity. I think our SD was around 10 or 11 feet per second. So
it's not bad.
That's going to keep our vertical stringing to a minimum when we get out to distance. And what I did is I just typed everything in to a ballistic solver. I'm just using the shooter app here. I'm using that because I already had a profile set up. And so, you know, we need to factor in things like the sight height for the rifle, the twist rate on the rifle, the G7 BC of the bullet. That's going to be a better accurate representation of our ballistics here, and make sure that we have our velocity entered. I just did a laser range finding of the target at 662. We usually call this the 660. So we were pretty close on that.
Close, man.
Yep. And so I'm looking at two things here. I've got an elevation dial of 3.5 mils up, right? You're going to be using either mils or MOA. We tend to use mils here. It's just a unit of measure, whatever you decide to use. If you can shoot with other people, that's always good. So you're speaking the same language. And for a 5 mile per hour, 90 degree wind, we have 0.4 mils hold. And it looks like our wind is, right now it's about perpendicular to, it is about 90 degrees to this particular target. We've got the one at 660, and then we're going to be going out to 1390 for the real ELR shot.
Yeah.
So I'm going to dial up 3.5, and I know that I'm going to have to hold probably right edge of target somewhere around a 0.5 mil. Let's see how this is going to go.
Let's go for it.
You can see our target on the long shot there. Okay, so I'm going to mag out a little bit here, make sure that we know where our target is. Yep, there we are. Okay, so I'm going to dial up 3.5. And we've got that wind going, so I'm going to do a hold of about almost 0.5, which is going to put me kind of right edge plus a little bit. Are you with me?
I'm with you.
Okay.
Hit.
Nice.
Impact, yeah.
We're going to send another one just to make sure we like that.
Nice. Impact.
Just center punching.
Yeah, you're centering. And the
Okay.
wind's definitely picked up now.
Yeah, I think that means we're confirmed on our dope. I like our ballistic solution there. And so that means we're gonna get things pointed out to 0.8 miles then.
Sounds good. If we don't blow away first.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, now's when things get real. And this is truly where a cartridge like 7mm PRC is awesome, because at 1,390 yards, which we lasered, we've got 542.5 inches of drop.
Wow.
That's hardcore, but we're
That's
still
a lot.
going almost 1,600 feet per second. So we're still supersonic. We don't have to worry about the transition. So this time I'm going to be dialing 10.8, and if we have a 90-degree 5 mile per wind, that's going to be 0.9. So we're going to be holding probably right edge. I'm going to have to take a look. We've got our Kestrel if we really want to do a serious wind measurement. But yeah, I'm going to dial up 10.8. We're going to take a look at the mirage through the scope and take a look at the direction of the heat waves, and that will tell me also which way the wind is going.
Sounds good.
So let's see what we can do here.
Yes.
.5. Yeah, the wind is kind of coming from the rear quarter here.
Yep, tailwind a little bit.
So we've got kind of like a 45-degree component to the wind if we're thinking in vectors.
Okay.
So, okay, so help me take a look at where I miss if I'm off target.
Okay, will do. I'm ready when you are.
Okay. I'm loading the bipod forward. I'm pulling the rifle back here. I'm gonna check my level to make sure that we're holding the rifle perfectly level. Super important. And I'm not seeing really much wind right now, so I'm gonna hold center.
All right.
Ready?
Ready.
Shooting. Okay,
You're to the right.
and that was 1.5 mil. So I'm gonna hold 1.5 mil. Shooting. Okay, that was low.
Okay, that was low for sure.
One more time, I'm gonna hold left a bit.
Okay.
Shooting. There
Impact.
we go.
Yeah. Got him.
Okay, so I was holding right like that.
Impact.
Impact. Okay,
That one
so
missed, but
we had 2 impacts in a row,
yeah.
and it took us a few shots to get on target because we had to be up at 11 and a half,
Okay.
basically. So we had to do a little bit more elevation, and the whole challenge was just seeing the misses and seeing exactly where they were.
Exactly. Yeah. Couldn't see a lot of them there. So.
Yep. Well, that was a lot of fun. There's no feeling like looking through the target and seeing that impact, in this case at 0.8 miles. Absolutely tremendous, and we were able to double that up and get 2 successive hits, which is great. And so, you know, in this video we showed selecting the right rifle. You know, if you pick a cartridge like 7mm PRC or 300 PRC, something like that, that's really capable long range, that will shoot those high BC bullets that buck the wind really well, it's just going to make it that much easier to get on target. We have this awesome Leupold Mark V HD 5-25 by 56. The Audair mount did an excellent job. We've got the accessories from MK Machining, things like the throw lever, the turret magnifier, the parallax dial, right? And then the caps are great for when the rifle is in transport and all of that. These are all things that are going to make your life a lot easier. We also had our laser rangefinding binoculars using ARCA and a tripod to create this super steady laser rangefinding capability, which is another critical thing for getting on target. What I would have done differently is we actually had the wrong dope. The shooter app is a very simple app, and I think at 1390 it told me up 10.8. And what I did was I just ran the same exact parameters with Hornady's free Fordoff ballistic calculator on the Hornady website. And sure enough, 1390 up 11.32. I ended up at 11.5 dial, and so I was right in there in that tolerance of, you know, easily being on target had we started with the 11.32. And then we would have just had to deal with, you know, wind, right? You saw how much wind there was there on the ridge line. You know, we did validate at 660, which is always a good idea to kind of work your way out to make sure that your ballistic formula is true. It just happened to be that in this case, once we got out to those extreme distances, things were off a little bit. So next time, I'll be using that Fordoff app on my phone to create a complete profile if I need to from scratch. So I hope you learned some things in this video. You know, long range shooting is all about attention to detail. The right rifle setup, the right optics setup, getting a really good clean zero, getting an accurate velocity measurement, which we did with the Athlon's new Rangecraft Doppler chronograph, really great little unit. And then making sure that you have a really comprehensively correct ballistic solution, right? Using a ballistic solver, one of these apps. And holding the rifle level, exercising good trigger discipline, loading the bipod, pulling the buttstock into your shoulder just a little bit, being super, super steady. If you're unsure at all of your form behind the rifle, do a bunch of dry firing. And once you can see the trigger break and not see the reticle move much, then you know you're headed in the right direction. My question for you is, what did you learn from watching this video? What helped you? And then also, is there something that I missed that you feel like is an important tip for newcomers to long range? Drop a comment and we'll have a discussion down in that comment section. Now, if you click on that first link in the video description, it'll take you over to our article where we'll have links to all of the product pages for Audair and for the MK machining goodies here, the UD chassis from Ultradyne, all that good stuff. So, thank you very much for watching. That concludes this video, and that means it's time to wrap it up. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're watching Ultimate Reloader on TV and want to take advantage of free resources, exclusives, and hot deals, just hold your camera phone up to the QR code, tap on the link, fill out the information, boom, you're getting Ultimate Reloader emails. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, we're on Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, where we've got unrestricted content, and Instagram. Make sure to follow us on all those channels. Ultimate Reloader also has a commercial solutions division serving law enforcement, the military, and the gun industry. We have some unique capabilities, including a comprehensive suite of recoil testing and evaluation capabilities, trigger profiling, and more. Thanks again for watching.